You grew up in a musical family. Did you always know that this was the path for you? What was the origin story?
I always make the joke that I always knew because I'm like not really good at anything else. My dad plays music. He never did it professionally, but that's how like he got through college, like playing in bars and stuff. So there's always music in the house. And then I have a twin brother as well. We used to do music together. So like it was always a thing, and it's interesting. My twin brother, we used to do music together, and now he's studying to be a veterinarian, and he's kind of good at everything. Like he's a great athlete, great, musician. He's great in school. Not that I was an idiot in school or anything, but like it was always music for me, and he could have chose any of those paths, and for me, it was like it was always this. It was always one thing. And yeah, I've never really strayed from it. Since I was, my mom said I was trying to sing before I could talk, which makes no sense. But she says that's the truth, so I believe her.
In this career, it's about having the right people around you. Who's been that community that's influenced and impacted your career? And how's that group of collaborators help push your artistry forward?
That's a great question. I feel like that that starts, at home, when you're younger. My parents have always been super supportive. Not all parents would be super supportive knowing that their son was dropping out of college after a year. And so it starts there. And I moved to Nashville in 2016. And I've just, being in a city full of creative people who do the same thing. That can feel competitive to people, but I don't look at it as a competition by any means. I look at it as, if your friends are winning, you're winning, and vice versa.
Mm,
The thing about this job is it's so personal, right? Because you're the
yeah.
product, and the songs that you write are extension of you. And on top of that, your coworkers are your friends. And so, I love the people I have around me. And I also love that I'm genuinely just a gigantic fan of the people around me.
Yeah, that's
So yeah.
that's a great mindset to have. And you recently shared a really powerful post about finally being able to make the music that you wanted to make. How's the path as an independent artist allow you to do that? And how has that affected the music?
Um, Another great question. You must do this for a living. When I moved to Nashville, opportunities came pretty early. And those opportunities ended up not being what I thought they were, but they ended up just
Mm,
being gigantic learning experiences for me.
yeah.
Um, and I feel really, really lucky that I learned those things really young in my move to Nashville. I was 19 when I signed my first record deal, and I was out of it by the time I was 22. And of course, I thought that was going to be, you're told that's the thing that's going to change your life, and it very well can be. It just wasn't the right one for me, and so getting out of it and being able to release music again, or release music I want to make. I love country music. I'm always going to be a fan of it. I grew up listening to it. My mom's from all over down south, but growing up in Long Island and never seeing a chicken in my life and
Mm.
not drinking and wearing pearls around my neck doesn't necessarily constitute being a country artist, nor does nor is it the music I want to make, and it's always going to be influenced by it, and it's always going to be a Nashville written song. But it's been amazing to um, be able to release music again, be able to release music I want to make it when I want to make it with who I want to make it with. Because that's what it's all about. I think being an artist, you know, I think there's a gigantic difference between being somebody who sings songs and being an artist. And I think somebody
Mm.
who sings will sing whatever you want them to sing, and that's great. But for me, I think being an artist, it's what you sound like, it's what you want to say, how you want to say it, what you want it to look. It's all the things. It's a vision. And so for me, you know, if you're not able to make the music you want to make, it kind of defeats the purpose of being an artist in the first place. So it's been amazing to learn so much in the past, 7 years being here in Nashville, and now be able to put out the music I want to make and run with it. So
Actually be the answer to this next question, but every artist is looking for that song that's going to change their life. And there was a point in the career where that was true for you, but you've changed that mindset. What led to that shift where it's more about growing as an artist as opposed to those numbers?
well, that's a great question too, because it's funny. Like I think I tell myself that it's not about the numbers, and I don't necessarily always believe it for myself because obviously it's impossible not to look at the numbers. Once again, this is the most personal job in the world. You
Hmm.
are literally the product, and it's based off of people and numbers and algorithms liking you or not. And so, as much as I say it's not about the numbers and it's about making the music you want to make, I am such a hypocrite where I always get in my head about those things. Um, it's interesting. I think it's about continually making music that you love, that you believe in, making music that you would listen to yourself and
Yeah.
build it. Everybody wants something that, shoots up, you have a hit, when I was 15 and I was on Disney Channel, I thought that was going to be it. Everybody wants that thing, and that for me wasn't it. It's been 10 years since I was, since then. And it's been 7 years in Nashville. So everybody wants that, that one song. And I totally understand that. I know I know we're videoing this. But I see it as rather than, a gigantic upward swing, you want the steady climb. Because I think that's where careers are made. Now, would I be opposed to a gigantic hit tomorrow? Of course not. Um, but I think it's about the steady climb, and it's interesting because you said a lot of artists are looking for that one song, and it's really interesting. Like you you believe in most of your songs, I'd say. Not all of them are the best song ever written,
Mhm.
but there's a lot of times you believe in one song more than another, and it's really interesting because a lot of times that song is not the song. Um, and it's really interesting because at the end of the day, you can believe in it and your team quote unquote can believe in it, but at the end of the day, it's up to the fans. And their favorite song might not be your favorite song, and your favorite song
Mm.
might not be their favorite song, or it might be, and that doesn't mean it's a bad song or a good song. It's just whatever reacts. And so it's really interesting because a lot of times the song you think is going to be the one isn't the one, and then the one that you never expect to be the one is the one, and it's just I don't know, it's a really interesting job in that way because it's not up to you. It's up to the people, you know.
Yeah. You've also been really open about the highs and lows of this industry, and you've had a lot of success already in your young career. When you look back, is there a particular moment that stands out?
Of success.
Yeah, either way.
Either or. I don't know. I think this job it's that build. I said, I've been doing this since I was 3. I've been singing since I was 3. I've been doing music my whole life. And then, when I was 15, I was on Disney Channel. And then I started working with Zach Brown Band and then Rascal Flatts and the Sound of Record. And all those things, when those things happened, I thought they were going to be the thing, right? But they weren't the thing. They just led to the next thing that is hopefully leading to the thing. I literally yesterday wrote a song. It's not about this, but it can totally be interpreted as this. It's called Dominoes, and it's basically like all those people you love before are leading to that that least last domino hitting, And I think I've been trying to look at my music that way and trying to look at my career that way, where it's like it's all just dominoes leading to,
Mm.
each one is hitting after the other, and you have to hit this one to hit this one to hit this one to hit this one on that journey to the end. And so, to answer your question with a long-winded answer, um, I don't know if one thing sticks out. I think it's a bunch of things that stick out. That are all hopefully leading to that last domino.
It keeps you hungry as an artist as well. You've got a new single out now. Can you tell us about Forget About You and the inspiration behind it?
Um, yeah, I love Forgot About You. It's interesting. Once again, it's one of those songs where you expect it to be the one, and I'll be totally transparent with you on here. It didn't do what I thought it would do, and that's
Mm.
totally okay. But it's really interesting because I a lot of times get really in my head about that. Like if a song comes out and it doesn't do what I expected it to do, I get in my head about it. But it's interesting with Forgot About You. Um, I was in my head about it, and then I went back and listened to it, and I said to myself, you know what? That is disappointing. It didn't do what I thought it was going to do, and it very well still might be able to do it. A song's first day, first week, first 3 weeks
Yeah.
don't dictate its life, especially now more than ever. You see, last night I saw that at the CMAs, Tracy Chapman won Song of the Year for a song she wrote 35 years ago.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like it's mind blowing. But with Forgot About You, I was a little in my head about it, and then I went back and listened to it, and I said to myself, I made something here that I'm really proud of, and I really love this song, especially getting out of all my deals and everything, and finally being able to make music I want to make. I think "Forgot About You" is a really good example of like sonically where I want to be. And I love that song, and I think that's what it's about. And every song is just once again, it's a domino every single time. There's a there's a cartoon photo I have on my phone that it sounds stupid when I put it that way. It's a cartoon, but it's like this inspiring graphic, and it's basically it's two guys and they're both digging for diamonds, and one's on the bottom and one's on the top. And the guy on the bottom is like he's turned around, he's leaving, but he's this close to the diamonds and he doesn't know it. And he's digging through all this and he's right there, but he's like, you know what, I'm never gonna get there. He turns right around. And the other guy above him is still like 10 feet for the diamonds, but he's still digging. And so it's like you never know like if that next throw of the axe is going to hit those diamonds or not.
Mm,
And so it does keep you hungry. And once again, I tell myself this, and I have to practice what I preach and believe it. But a song's first week, song's first 3 weeks don't necessarily dictate its life. And so I'm really eager to see what Forgot About You does, because the reaction has been amazing of everybody
yeah.
who's and I'm really grateful for that. Everybody's been loving it, and I'm really eager to see, whose ears and what ears it hits next.
Really resonated with your fans. And there was a funny moment when you released the song when your fans were curious about what was going on in your life. But I found it so interesting that you said that you're very much a concept writer. Has that always been your process? Has it ever been strange to write from a perspective when you're not experiencing it in the moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I put out a song back in January called "How Are You," and "How Are You" has been the biggest reaction I've seen to a song ever, and I'm really grateful for that. It's another song that it is a good example of one of the songs that I really believed in, was hoping it was going to do something, and it did do something, and that's a rare thing for that to happen, where it's usually once again the ones you don't expect to do it. Um, but with "How Are You," I was getting all these comments like, "Did you and your girlfriend break up?" And we have not broken up. We've been together for 4 years. But for me, the way I write songs, regardless if I'm going through it or not, if I've been through it before, if there's a great concept, I'm gonna write it, and I'm gonna tap into those emotions. Whether it's, when I wrote "How Are You," I actually wasn't even thinking about a past thing. I was thinking to myself, if
Mm,
my girlfriend broke up with me and I ran into her somewhere, what would I be feeling? And "Forgot About You" is the same way. It's interesting. I put out another song called "Nobody's You," and the first line is, "Sometimes you tell me you wish that your eyes were blue, but if you could see those brown eyes looking back at you." So I put brown eyes in a lot of songs because my girlfriend has brown eyes, and "Forgot About You" is a sad song and it has the word brown eyes in it too, because I was like, you know what? I would never be able to forget about Brigida, and she's got brown eyes. So it's interesting. I thought it was a really cool concept, forget I forgot about you. I thought it was a cool play on words.
yeah.
So I'm always concept first, and then I dig into my emotions afterwards. And it's interesting. I'm giving you the longest answers ever, but
No, no, you're good. You're good.
I think it's interesting too, because as I said, I'm no longer doing country music. But I think one of the staples of country music is a story, um,
Hmm.
and having a hook. Having something that makes you, oh, I like what they did there. And although I'm not no longer doing country music, I think that's a piece of country music that I still love and want to bring to pop music. Where as much as you do
Yeah.
pop music, it's more rare in pop music. And I think being in Nashville for 7 years now, a little over 7 years now, um, I'm really grateful of, learning how to really craft those type of songs. And that's something that I'm really excited to bring to pop music, that once
Yeah.
again, it is there, but it's more rare in pop music, and doing it in that way. Once again, I'm excited to do that myself.
It's a testament to your songwriting ability. And this is going to be a strange question, but of all the music that you've released thus far, if you had to pick a song that best encompasses who you are as an artist in this moment, which would it be and why?
Oh, great question, because I wasn't allowed to put on music for so long. Now I'm putting it out again according to what we're talking about. Uh, can I pick two for
Yeah.
two reasons? I think "How Are You" um, is the writer I want to be and continue to strive to be, and hopefully write even better songs. That I'm really proud of that hook. I'm really proud of that story. Um, and it's interesting, when we went and produced it, we had so many different versions. Like the first version was super upbeat, and then me and my buddy Adam, who I produced it with, we looked at each other and we're like, why don't we just let the song be a song and just like let it speak for itself? And we stripped it back just to straight piano, and there's a few other little things in there, but it's really just a piano vocal. And I think that encapsulates me as an artist, as like it's the song first. And it's a once again it's a interesting hook, and it's a story. And then I'd say Forgot About You, honestly, it was really fun to just like not play by any rules. And it's interesting, the first verse is like 10 BPM slower than the rest of the song because we were like, who cares what the rules are? Let's just like try things. And it's super pop but super organic at the same time. It still has all the acoustic guitars that I love putting on everything. um, and it's really fun, and it's, I don't know, it's somewhere in between all the genres and all the influence I've ever loved. And I think that is really cool. It goes back to what I said before. It's like being an artist is like you want to sound like you and don't sound like anybody else. And I think that song is a good example of like I think that sounds like Dylan Brady, in
Yeah.
one of his forms when he's not writing sweet little love songs or super sad slow songs. I think that's a upbeat form of Dylan Brady. So.
Yeah, it's been a very much a banner year for you. And as you look ahead to 2024, what can fans expect from you? Is there a larger project in the work? Is there a potential tour?
Um, it's a great question. A lot more songs. I'm almost trigger happy with songs at this point because I'm finally get to do it, and that still means being smart with what comes out next and being
Yeah.
strategic. But it's a lot more songs. I think also it's been a really insightful year to see what fans are resonating with. And so that's kind of made me rethink of what songs come next and what order they come in.
Mm,
So yeah, and definitely some touring opportunities that have not been nailed down yet, but that I'm excited about. And yeah, just a lot more songs. And hopefully, once again, I've been rethinking of what songs come next, and hopefully songs that they love and resonate with.
definitely well. And we like to end all of our interviews with musical artists with a speed round. Is there a band or artist that fans would be surprised to learn is on your playlist?
Ooh, that's interesting. Surprised. Can I look at my Spotify?
Yeah, yeah.
It's no longer a speed round if I do that, I'm sure, but
No,
I
you're totally fine.
genuinely want to give you a good answer. Um, Random that they would not. Hmm. Um, I've been really into like super like singer-songwriter stuff. Like there's this girl named Abby Holiday that I think is really cool. I've been into like the singer-songwriter stuff. Like anybody like that like is like written in the same font of Lizzie McAlpine is like
Mm,
kind of what I've been into lately. Lizzie McAlpine, Abby Holiday, Ben Kessler, all that. I don't know if that's
love.
surprising, but just what I've been listening to.
What about the first album you ever bought?
I think it was a Green Day album. My older sister was super into Green Day back then, and so I think it was International Super Hits. I might be quoting that wrong, but I loved Green Day because my first instrument was drums, and I learned all their songs on drums, and so it was probably a Green Day record.
What about first concert you ever attended?
First concert, I was a late bloomer to concerts. I was like 14 when I went to my first concert, other than like my dad's concerts in the park in my hometown when he would play. But my first concert was it was Walk Off the Earth were headlining and Parachute were opening. And I feel very grateful now because I've been able to become friends with both of them. Walk Off the Earth through social media, and then
Mm.
Will Anderson, who's the lead singer of Parachute, he's in Nashville, and we become buddies. So it was very full circle because I remember being 14, and Will, when he was opening for Walk Off the Earth, like he looked at me and waved at me on stage. And I remember we got lunch one time. And it was like the first time, and I told him, I was like, 14-year-old me was like freaking out that he waved at me on stage.
And
So
now you're creating those moments for your fans. What about an album that changed your life and why?
album that changed my life. Um, hmm. I think early on, it was pretty much any Rascal Flatts record. And I think, as once again, I'm no longer doing country music, but I'll always go back to those early Flatts records from like the 2000s, like any of them. You could pick any of them. And they just like the way I write melodies and the way I always say I think I gravitated towards them because we both sound like we haven't hit puberty when we sing. Uh, and so any early Flats record, really shaped me, especially early on. And still, I still go back to them all the time.
We were talking about touring earlier. Is there a venue that's on your bucket list to perform at?
Hmm. Any big venue, I guess. But I think when I was growing up in New York, and I'm a diehard Rangers fan, so Madison Square Garden would be pretty cool. But yeah, yeah, I think anywhere, but MSG always held a certain place in my heart.